NERDSoul. Shane Dawson isn't done getting in trouble. And I usually don't do the YouTube beef stuff and YouTube dumb stuff, but he crossed over into blackness where I've got to talk about it. So he essentially, he has some old videos, some old statements that have been popping up on him. And where he's like, hey, I've made black jokes, this, that, and the third. And most of the black jokes ended with him getting into like the N-word or doing blackface. So we're not talking jokes anymore. Now you're starting to show some of your character through what you think is funny. So anyway, in an old video that has now resurfaced, he pretended to please himself to an old poster of Willow Smith, who was at the time 11 years old in the picture of the poster. So Jada Pinkett-Smith said something. She said, to Shane Dawson, I'm done with the excuses. Meaning because this ain't the first time your boy Shane been in trouble. Then Jayden comes out. This is when I saw Jayden trending. He said, Shane Dawson, I'm disgusted by you. You sexualizing an 11-year-old girl who happens to be my sister is the furthest thing from funny and not okay in the slightest bit. The reason I bring this up is because, one, I like to see the unified effort from the family fighting back on Shane Dawson. Also, I wanted to bring the light to this because Shane Dawson just did an apology video on YouTube about the blackface and the N-words and all that other stuff. And people are just starting to talk about canceling him. And I wanted to bring this up because look at how cheap black life is. Look at how long you can get away. Yeah, Shane, Jeffrey, Logan Paul, Jake Paul. Look at how much you're able to do and get away with in the public eye until someone thinks about canceling you. Shane Dawson, I submit to you, has been running rampant for a while. Fast and loose with all kinds of YouTube content. Him and his ilk. People that do, kind of like what I call like the lowest common denominator white boy stuff. And it's always laced with some kind of racial epithet or a racial joke or something like that. And in this case, he was saying, oh, well, at the time I was doing kind of like very, if you could say, kind of gotcha content or very shocking content for shock value. Here's the problem with that. Somehow, everyone else that lived in that era was able to not do shocking content like you. But somehow only you, well, not only you, meaning only people like him, were able to do this. I was about to get right where you went. Thank you, Boogsworthy. Boogsworthy says they really conflate cancellation with being held accountable. So many of them cape for predators in the platform. Thank you. I was about to get to this. I submit to you that Shane Dawson isn't canceled. Homie probably still gonna make mad money, get mad views, and this unfortunately will blow over for him. He's not being canceled. People are calling him out, aka being held accountable, meaning being challenged on what he said. And we should challenge everything someone says that's crossed to someone black. Everyone else does. If you say something to any other group besides black people, they are ready to jump up and check them and hold them accountable and challenge them. When it's against black people, we're just apparently fair game. I submit to you guys, even on people like this that are stupid and this is dumb, we need to jump on them and hold them accountable, whether people got our back or not. Because we have to make it known that from now on, we ain't taking no ish from you, or you. So those are the couple things. One, how much it takes just for him to get called out. Two, that I did like to see the unified effort. Ma Dukes made a statement. You know what I'm saying? Jade made a statement. I'm pretty sure Will probably didn't make a statement because he's like, that's my baby girl. I don't want. He like, I can't say.
He was gonna make.
I can't say that statement.
Yeah.
He probably had to give that statement to his PR person, and then she kind of he formulated it to something nice. Because Will probably like, look, I'll just shoot you and leave it over with. But it's not funny. sexualizing young people, being a sexual predator, molesting a child, pedophilia is not funny. It's not a joke. Now, one could go along the line and say, oh, well, what about the guy in Family Guy? I'd submit to you that Family Guy's been called out a long time ago. It's just been allowed to survive because it's made by white people. But Family Guy has been called out a long time ago. And since they're not canceled, then Shane Dawson won't be canceled, but he should still be called out. And big shout out to Arkham O, nice to see you in the chat, says, worst thing are the cult of fans. Heck, you can argue all them YouTubers like the Paul brothers, Shane, Jenna, etc. probably have the worser cult fanboy following than the Snyder cult and Star Wars fans. Wow. I don't know, man. Them Snyder Cut guys are serious. But I know what you're saying. It's just crazy because it shouldn't take this much. It shouldn't take all this for him to have to make an apology video. It shouldn't have, and he hasn't even responded to the Willow Smith stuff because he probably thought that ain't been pulled up. I ain't got to even address it. Now it's been pulled up. Yo, you got to pay for it. Now, at the same time, do you have to pay for it for the rest of your life? Well, it depends on what you did. But do you have to pay for it in some type of way? Yes. Dude, you're simulating pedophilic acts for comedy. Well, of course he's a YouTuber. He's probably the only one shooting it and editing it, but nobody was like, it's not a good look.
And can I say this too? And I know I've said it before, at least just to you, if not.
Go ahead.
You know, I'm tired of these pitiful, fake apologies. Save your little raggedy apologies. You said what you meant. You did what you meant.
Yeah.
So just roll with it. Don't, because to me, it's condescending. You know, when you want to turn around, like, what you apologizing there for? If you did this some time ago, I want to ask you, when did you become sorry? What was the point at which you said, you know what I did was wrong, and I'm apologizing? Was it when you got caught? Or was it after you sat and thought about it yourself without anybody telling you anything? Because if you didn't apologize until after you got caught, then I don't want to hear it.
The apology is because advertisers said we can't advertise with you anymore until you apologize. Because we don't want to pull our money. Because you make us money.
But my thing is
so we need you to apologize so that we can keep giving you money, because we ain't going to stop advertising.
And the thing is, they require apologies because we as consumers accept the apology for them to be able to continue on. And my thing is, why are we accepting you showed who you were. You said
Alan Lewis
what you wanted
the
to
lifetime
say.
Special apologies be comedy to me.
They are just so, because it's like, it's manipulative. That's what it is. And that's what pisses me off. Sorry. Look
at you bring with the fire tonight, boy.
Shut up. Because you're trying to manipulate people. It's fake. And it's like, I just want to hand you an Oscar at that point. It's like, wow, you shed a tear and everything. Like, just sit down with it. Just be who you are. Be who you are.
Yeah, and I'll touch on this before we jump to the next topic that you got up. Arkamo says, funny how when they always want to restrict people on Twitter, IG, or YouTube, like Minister Farrakhan, but when it's white social media personality, MAGA racist, YouTube ain't got no issue with them.
Yeah,
it's YouTube, Twitter, and all them jump in and out of it. They ride waves. Like you see Alex Jones, they got him up out of here because they had to ride the wave. But people that are smaller, that aren't as boisterous or out there or maybe popular, they let them live. They let them live. Like Shane Dawson, they let him live. Jenna Marbles, they let her live. Even Milo Yiannopoulos, Dark Crowns brought him up the other day. I completely forgot about him. They was letting him live for a minute, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about old boy. Until they was like, all right, look, it's too much. The wave is coming. You got to go. Here's the thing. YouTube, and I know YouTube was like, we're investing over $100 million into black creators. I ain't seen a dime. And I ain't seen where they said they was going to put a dime at. But they put that $100 million up on the screen, didn't they? So they could get press off of black bodies. Just think about that for a second. But YouTube picks and chooses when it feels like being for the people. I submit to you, this video right here will be demonetized. We're talking about black people. We're talking about racism. It'll be demonetized. I can go tomorrow and stream myself playing Cuphead. We can stream Cuphead or something tomorrow, right? I'll get all the ads in the world. The problem is YouTube don't want nobody talking about no real stuff. As long as you're black and you're talking about Doom Patrol, I'll be talking about Doom Patrol tomorrow. Bet you won't have no problem with any type of ads. Doom Patrol will be great. No problem. Monetize, here's the green thumbs up. No problem. This joint, demonetized. I wonder why. Are we cursing? No. Are we showing X-rated images on this stream? No. Is there anything going on that is outside of maybe, because we try to keep a family show, maybe PG, not even PG-13. I'm not even cursing on this, but it'll be demonetized. Meanwhile, I've seen streams full of the Snyder Cut and all kinds of stuff where they're cursing, and it's all good. Money all good. Even be showing the analytics and everything. Whenever you want to get real, and the wave is a little too strong, you're going to get demonetized. So YouTube cares at times about the people, but only when it suits itself. Think about it. Remember the whole adpocalypse? Remember adpocalypse? PewDiePie. Oh, adpocalypse. Oh man, it's so crazy. We've got to change the way we do ads. Now the dude has a deal with YouTube. He has a deal with YouTube. His own personal deal. Money flowing. YouTube don't care nothing about that. YouTube don't care. YouTube ain't no different than any of these other companies. People be like, oh, YouTube is SJW or YouTube is conservative. No, YouTube is about that money, and they will follow any wave they can to try to get to it. And right now, their wave is, we want to keep these white creators that have been mad racist, but we're going to need them to rein in the racism just a little bit. Because now, this whole thing with Black Lives Matter is going on. So now we got to pretend like we care about black people, because everybody else is. Oh, yes, I said that. Everyone else is. Now, do I say we shouldn't capitalize on it? Oh, yes, we should. But all I'm saying is, everybody out here do it. Shane Dawson ain't going nowhere. Jake and Logan ain't going nowhere. PewDiePie ain't going nowhere. And don't think that YouTube... Look, I'd say y'all might want to follow that money on that $100 million. That's all I'm saying. Because I submit to you, ain't nobody going to get that stuff. Because when it comes to YouTube, they think that black YouTube is MKBHD and that's it. And I love MKBHD. I watch his stuff pretty frequently. I have nothing against him personally. What I'm saying is YouTube likes him for a certain specific reason. And I'll just leave it at that. And this is not an indictment on MKBHD. He's great. It's what YouTube does because of the person that he thinks he is. I submit to you that MKBHD is probably realer than you think. But he like, look, I got a tech channel. That's probably the real deal. But slide that to the side. We got into YouTube and now we're getting out of YouTube. Tay 2020 was talking back and forth with Eon saying that's one example, but so many channels on YouTube, TikTok that disrespect black people and don't get canceled and make money on those videos, and people make money on those videos, which is true. Like TikTok has already been exposed for how the algorithm essentially works against black people. But then you have Arkamo he was following up with the cult statement, talking about funny how when they always want to restrict people on Twitter, talking about Farrakhan. I wanted to jump back on Farrakhan. So here's the thing. They restrict Farrakhan, but notice how the restriction always lasts longer for someone black. Restriction for Farrakhan is like lifelong. When it comes to a white creator, it's like, we'll restrict you for like a week. We'll bring you back. We'll bring you right back. Don't worry about it. Tay 2020 said YouTube is losing. Yeah. We got this Tay 2020 and 1990. Excuse me. So Tay 1990 said YouTube is losing money and Facebook and ad revenue. The podcasting sphere will be the next boom. Wink, wink. That Joe Rogan deal with Spotify. Yo, yes. podcasting is huge. It's been big for a while, but I think people have just been sleeping on it. And yes, I do think that there's a lot of money to be made, not only in podcasting, not only in the audio space, but like you followed up and kind of alluded to, also in the space for Black people. Because by restricting many Black creators, all you're essentially doing is kind of like cutting off your own revenue stream, because the money that we make, of course, y'all share in it. And on to the statement about Arkamo says that's because, talking about MKBHD, said that's because he's your token Black creator. He stay on code for massa. There's a lot of them creators out there like him. I feel you on that. Now, I'd say I challenge you on this. MKBHD doesn't strike me as one of those like kind of step and fetch type of dudes. He doesn't strike me as one of those kind of like caping for massa type stuff. He does strike me as one of those like, I don't really like the confrontation bit. I don't think because he did make a video about being Black in tech, where he kind of alluded to some real stuff, but he didn't. I think MKBHD is one of those guys that don't like the confrontation aspect, and there is a confrontation aspect to this. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the amount of subscribers that he has.
Let me ask you this. Speaking of him, do you feel like because of the platform that he has, that as a Black man, he has the responsibility at this time to speak on Black issues on his platform?
Yes, and I think he tried to do that through his Black in Tech video. He did a video about a week or so ago, and he didn't really come with the flames and fire. And not saying that you have to come through with the flames and fire, but he had a video, I'm trying to find the title of it right now, so you can always check. Reflecting on the color of my skin. That's the video. Right now it has 4.9 million views. It came out 3 weeks ago. So 3 weeks ago. So it's not that I think he's caping for massa. I think that he just strikes me as a guy that doesn't like confrontation. And not meaning like in a punk kind of way, meaning like in a way of life. Like I don't want to deal with the conflict. I want to kind of do my thing and move forward, but I'm not into the conflict type of stuff. And it's similar to remember when we were talking about the beef between Spike Lee and Eddie Murphy? Kind of like, Spike had his way, Eddie had his way. So I don't think, at least to me, he never struck me as that. But on the flip side of that, YouTube does use him as their token Black guy. Yes, they do. A whole lot. A whole lot.
But he comes across as the quote, safe, Black man.
Yeah. And, Black YouTube or Black media on YouTube is much more than that. Black media on YouTube is MKBHD. It's myself. It's Tasha K. It's Professor Black Truth. It's Thought Crimes. It's so there's a myriad. There's Black Hokage. There's tons of different voices of Blackness on YouTube. But when you see who YouTube kind of like elevates, which is probably going to be like Francesca Lee, even though she did that whole Twitter thing where she's like, I'm not messing with YouTube no more. At least that's what I think she said. You're going to get those types. Kind of like you're going to get kind of like Double Toasted is Black media as well. Shouts to Big Double Toasted, man. Like they are mad cool. They are mad cool. But those different voices are all needed. And we're all banging that drum, but just in different ways. The only thing is, I think that YouTube uses the bang of only one drum to make sure that they get the point across that they want, which is MKBHD, which is a little less confrontational. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't, and not in a way to diss, but I wouldn't expect to see MKBHD hop up and start talking about fighting white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't see. Some of it is because that's not really his platform, how he set it up, and also because he doesn't seem like that kind of guy to engage on that in a public space. Personally, he probably does, but and so that's why we need YouTube some of that $100 million, which we ain't seen. Where is it going to? What are you doing with this $100 million? How are you using this $100 million to help black creators instead of the 2 to 3 that you will probably, which is going to be like, I don't know, like Francesca Lee, MKBHD. What's the, oh man, I cannot think of that other girl's name. She's in DC, I think. But instead of like 2 or 3 of them, ABBA and Preach, Double Toasted, like you said. Someone said 5150 in the chat. Corey Holcomb, boy, man. Corey Holcomb, crazy. Jay Washington's another. There's other people out there that have different voices of blackness that can be heard. You know what I'm saying? Could let that dollar circulate. They ain't gonna let that dollar circulate. But anyway, with that said, we jumped back on YouTube. Now we jumping off YouTube.